Welcome back for another video. It's non-stop FPL with GW15 just around the corner for a Saturday deadline. So in this one we're going to be looking at who the best players to buy are this week with help from FPL review projections. It's another double upload day, team selection to follow later on. Let's get into it. Starting off with the keepers. Now Maresca went full rotation against Southampton, which saw Jackson, Colwell and even Sanchez drop to the bench. They are away to Spurs this week, so Sanchez drops off the table anyway. Maresca did state after the game that Sanchez would be returning to the side for that game against Spurs on Sunday, so I wouldn't worry about it too much just yet. If it happens again, then he's got to go, but it's unlikely that he'll want to keep shopping and changing the keeper. Raya tops the keepers' projections this week with 3.9 points. Arsenal away to Fulham on Sunday afternoon. Now looking at the next 5 game week projections, it's not even close when you look at the keepers. If you can get to Raya this week, it's worth it. For a bit cheaper, Pope is second for the next 5 game weeks. Their run is Brentford, Leicester, Ipswich, Villa and Man United. Raya is worth finding the extra 0.5 million though in my eyes. If you've got him already, you're in a good position. Super cheap Fabianski is going to be playing home to Wolves and he's on 3.4 points this week. Play him if your other keeper doesn't have more than 3.4 points here this week. So Ortega got the nod again for City. One question mark for Game Week 14 was whether he kept that spot after the loss to Liverpool, and he did, and he kept a clean sheet. It still feels like way too much of a risk for as much as 5.2 million. It wouldn't be entirely surprising if Ederson comes back in at some point, so save yourself a headache, that seems sensible. And his next 5 projections are obviously very low here due to the uncertainty on those minutes. On to the defenders then. And it's the Liverpool trio, Trent, Robertson and Van Dijk at the top this week, with Trent leading the way. Now Slot said in his pre-match press conference last game that he's not able to play 90 every match right now, having just returned from injury, which did suggest either an early sub or a benching, and it was the latter. However, he was exceptional when he came on, 2 assists off the bench for a 6-pointer. I've been looking at which direction to take my FPL team in the coming weeks. Either I upgrade an attacker or upgrade the defence with Trent. I'm looking to buy Trent from Game Week 60 myself. If you can get to him this week, it's an amazing entry point after that rest, and they're facing Everton where they'll be among the favourites for a clean sheet as well. If you're looking at a Liverpool defender, he's worth the premium over Van Dijk. Unless we get some news that Tsimikas is out long term, then Robertson could be great value for 1 mil cheaper. Tsimikas hasn't been in the squad for the last few matches. So it was Timber who was top of the Arsenal defenders last video, and he delivered with a goal, a clean sheet and bonus points. Well played if you went for him. Gabriel on the other hand missed out as Arsenal kept a clean sheet. Reportedly a minor knock, so a precaution was taken with him. Keep hold of Gabriel if you've got him. Arsenal only conceded 0.22 expected goals against Man United, which was comfortably the best of all the games played so far. Arsenal have scored more goals from corners than any other side in the Premier League since the start of last season with 22, while the 2 players with the most assists from set plays in this time are Rice and Saka. Villa are home to Southampton, which sees Konsa join the table with 3.8 points. Their long-term fixtures are pretty great, however in Game Week 17 and 18 they've got Man City and Newcastle. Outside of that he's playable pretty much every game. Big relief for Villa fans as well, as we saw Martinez back in goal again last match after rumours of an injury sidelining him. Brighton have got a nice block of 4 fixtures ahead, starting with Leicester away, and then it's Palace home, West Ham away, Brentford home. So Stupinian makes the table, while Duncan Van Heg also offer good cheaper alternatives. Another under the radar pick is Kirkes. He's got a goal and 2 assists this season, and Bournemouth actually ranked 5th best for expected goals conceded this season, which is surprisingly good. He's 4.4 mil, and as I say, 3 returns from left back. Their upcoming run as well is Ipswich, West Ham, Man United, Palace, Fulham and Everton. On to the best midfielders then, and who else but Salah leading this week on 6.6 points for the Merseyside derby. 2 goals and an assist against Newcastle, and Salah's now scored and assisted in more Premier League matches than any other player, doing that last night for the 37th time of his career, overtaking Rooney's record of 36. He's averaging 10.8 points per game this season, 21 returns in 14 games. In his last 7 games he's got 9 goals, 4 assists. Is he the best player on the planet right now, or does that reach him? Are there any other candidates for captaincy then? Well, Palmer's second among midfielders this week. He's playing away to Spurs and he's on 6.2 projected points. And then it's Bruno, Saka, and then Son and Bowen tied on 5.5. Let's talk about Bowen then. On the one hand, West Ham are really poor right now. But on the other hand, he's easily their best player and he was incredibly unlucky not to come away with a return against Leicester. He registered 1.55 expected goal involvement. And then you look at someone like Mbeumo who's taken 1 shot in the last 5. It's not too late to make that switch, but we'll talk about some other budget mids in a second as well. Now Bowen's next 4 are Wolves home, Bournemouth away, Brighton home, Southampton away. Rodgers was brilliant against Brentford as well. He scored a well taken goal. Initially he had an assist as well, but it was chalked off for Cash's goal. He's on 4.6 points this week, with Villa home to Southampton. Will Emery see this one as an opportunity to rotate a few players though, who might need a rest, like Maresca did? I like Semenyo as well, even more than Rodgers actually, for that block of games mentioned when we discussed Kirkes. Starting with Ipswich and then they're home to West Ham, and they're actually 6th best for expected goals this season, only behind the big five, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, Spurs and Arsenal. Only Haaland's taken more shots than Semenyo this season as well. He's taken more than Salah, Palmer and Saka, etc. While of course obviously those premiums have generated high quality XG shots, hence their superior output. Now's not the time to buy, but Eze is one player who's on my watch list. They've got a few rough games ahead, City home, Brighton away and then Arsenal home, and then the fixtures start to turn, including Southampton home in Gameweek 19, which is where I'm considering him as a possible Bone replacement. He'll need to deliver some impressive performances before then though, as he's only got 3 returns this season, following the assist for the winner against Ipswich last match. If you're a fixtures manager, then look no further than Gordon. 183 points for last season from 27 goal involvements. He scored against Liverpool on Wednesday, and his next 3 are Brentford, Leicester and Ipswich. The expected goals conceded rankings for those next 3 opponents are 15th, 19th and 18th. Onto the forwards then, and Haaland's just ahead this week on 6.1 points. Isak a little bit further down to 4.2, and the same points we made about Gordon apply to him. He got 1 goal, 1 assist against Liverpool as well, Isak. There was some uncertainty going into that game after he did say he was fit to play in an interview, and then Howe later said it's not a long-term issue. I mean, that's everything you need to know about paying attention to Howe's pressers. A 12-pointer for Watkins versus Brentford last match for his 3rd double-digit return this season, and he's home to Southampton as well, which is about as good as fixtures come. Looking at the next 5 however, Isak's projected more points for cheaper. In fact, further up the table is Havertz, who's on 4.6 points this week. He's actually got the same next 5 total as Isak. It is a fixture run I feel will suit Havertz. They've had some difficult games recently, where he's less of a focal point in the attack and he drops a bit deeper at times as a physical presence to help get the others around him unleashed. He won't need to be as involved in the engine room in these upcoming games on paper. Arsenal's next 5 are Fulham, Everton, Palace, Ipswich and Brentford. Really nice run. A common setup is double Arsenal defence and Saka, so one way to differentiate yourself from that is Havertz, Saka and one defender. Now Brighton have got a really favourable fixture against Leicester next. I wouldn't write off that West Ham win as the new manager bounced just yet. They did score 3 times but from 1.64 expected goals, and West Ham registered 3.1 XG against them. It's still a very good game for Brighton on paper. João Pedro and Welbeck are on 4.6 and 4.5 points. Looking at the next 5, they're dead even, but João Pedro does have the penalties, but slightly worse expected minutes. Pedro makes more sense at 0.1 cheaper, all things considered. Jackson will undoubtedly be back in the starting 11 for the Spurs fixture, I'm certain of that. It's a big game, and he's on 4 points this week. Keep hold if you've got him. Somewhat inflated by the insane 5.4 expected goals Chelsea registered against Southampton. However, for the season, Chelsea's 29.76 expected goals is more than any team now. Liverpool are in second, and then it's Man City, Spurs and Arsenal. All the expected data I use is from Scout, and all my tables are accessible in the members area. Go to s.id/FPL Focal to get 40% off, and they're doing a 7-day free trial promotion as well. Ipswich rank worst then, and then it's Wolves second worst. That said, with Wolves you've got to give them the next 3, West Ham, Ipswich and Leicester, and then you get rid of Cunha and Strand Larsen if you've got either of them. You could give them the Man United game as well since it's home if need be. Evan Nielsen seems to be finding his feet now. Before the Spurs game, he's blanked once in the last 8 games with 4 goals, 4 assists over that run. He's a nice cheap option for 6 mil. Leave a comment below of what your transfer plans are this week. Thanks for watching and make sure you're subscribed with a couple more videos to come before the deadline. See you soon for the next one.